Notre-Dame reopens, but at what cost are we willing to pay? A restoration that divides public opinion, sacred symbols taking on modern forms, and a ceremony that seems to flirt with the secular. This isn't just a reopening, it's a transformation that shakes the hearts of many. Ready to discover what has really changed? Originally, the event was supposed to take place on the cathedral square, with a speech by President Emmanuel Macron, followed by a liturgical celebration. But bad weather forced the organizers to move everything inside, sparking a heated debate. Some argue that the outdoor setting would have risked trivializing the rite, turning it into a worldly spectacle, far from tradition and sacredness. The move inside, prompted by the rain, has been interpreted by many as a return to respect for the spirituality of the place. However, the presence of political leaders like Donald Trump, Prince William, and Volodymyr Zelensky has fueled the debate, with some seeing the event as excessively politicized, capable of obscuring the religious value of the cathedral. The absence of Pope Francis, who preferred to continue with his program in Corsica, has further contributed to questioning the meaning of this ceremony. Notre-Dame de Paris, a universal symbol of faith and art, has become the focus of new tensions also because of the controversial restoration choices. The French authorities have promised to restore the cathedral to its original splendor, but without losing sight of its historical and spiritual essence. Despite these intentions, the restoration has sparked mixed reactions. One of the most discussed transformations concerns the lighting. The space that for centuries had enveloped the faithful in a mystical penumbra, due in part to the residues of candle smoke, now appears bright and modern thanks to a thorough cleaning and a contemporary lighting system. For many, this new light is a change that leaves a bitter taste, marking the end of a unique and unrepeatable atmosphere. This renovation has divided public opinion in two. On the one hand, there are those who celebrate the opportunity to admire the architectural and artistic details of the cathedral in all their newfound brightness. On the other hand, there are those who regret the mystical atmosphere, now considered sacrificed in favor of a modern aesthetic. However, the criticisms are not limited to lighting. The new liturgical furnishings, such as the altar with a contemporary design and the minimalist presbytery, have raised questions about their consistency with the historical and spiritual soul of Notre-Dame. For many, these choices are too cold, close to modern art, and far from the essence of Catholic tradition. Notre-Dame returns to being a shining symbol, but the controversies remain. The restoration presents itself as a compromise between faithfulness to the past and openness to the future, but not everyone sees it favorably. Among the most discussed points is the replacement of the traditional altar, once imposing and richly decorated, with one with simple and geometric lines. This choice, for some, has impoverished the symbolism and solemnity that the sacred center of the celebration should embody. Even the new celebrant's chair, with its modern design and placed as a scenographic element facing the faithful, has made many turn up their noses, evoking a sense of spectacle that seems at odds with spiritual contemplation. Equally debated is the new reliquary for the crown of thorns, one of the most venerated relics of Christianity. Although designed to bring pilgrims closer, its modernist design has raised eyebrows, appearing more like a contemporary work of art than a symbol of devotion. These interventions are interpreted in an ambivalent way. On the one hand, they represent an effort to engage with the modern world and make the cathedral more accessible. On the other hand, they are seen as signs of a break with tradition, risking altering the spiritual and cultural identity of Notre-Dame, always linked to its millennial history. One of the most controversial aspects of the restoration of Notre-Dame concerns the transformation of the interior lighting. For centuries, the cathedral was known for its dim and mystical atmosphere, created by the soft light of candles and natural filtering through the Gothic windows. This play of light and shadow was not just a visual detail, but a fundamental element of the spiritual and artistic experience of the place. With the restoration, however, this character has been profoundly altered. The removal of centuries of accumulated soot and the introduction of a modern lighting system have made the interior of the cathedral much brighter. This change, while enhancing some aspects, has divided public opinion. On the one hand, there are those who admire the opportunity to fully appreciate the architectural and decorative details of the cathedral, which for centuries had been obscured by the patina of time. The new light restores vivid colors and intricate details, renewing the visual appeal of the monument. On the other hand, there is no shortage of criticism from those who see this new brightness as the loss of a unique atmosphere. For many, the intimacy and spiritual contemplation of the cathedral have been sacrificed, and the space now appears more like an exhibition hall than a place of worship. This debate reflects a broader tension between tradition and modernity. The cathedral, a symbol of history and faith, is at the center of a complex challenge: how to preserve its legacy without compromising its essence. The new lighting thus becomes an emblematic example of this precarious balance between the desire to make the past more accessible and the risk of losing the sense of the sacred that characterized it. The reopening of Notre-Dame, beyond its religious value, has become a symbol of the path the Church is taking. The restoration, while celebrating the historical heritage, has introduced elements that seem to look decisively to the present, raising questions about the meaning of sacredness and tradition. Even the inauguration ceremony, marked by a strong political imprint and the initial possibility of being held outdoors, showed a tendency to transform sacred places into spaces of universal value, sometimes at the expense of their spiritual rootedness. Notre-Dame is not just a cathedral. With this reopening, it becomes a symbol of dialogue between the past and the future, a field of confrontation between conservation and change. An event that, while concerning a single place, reflects a broader debate on the very meaning of the sacred in the contemporary world. The Church today is moving along a complex trajectory, trying to maintain a deep connection with its millennial roots, while facing the challenge of adapting to a world that demands inclusivity and modernity. It is a path that requires balance, but one that raises questions about how much it is possible to renew oneself without compromising the spiritual and cultural identity that has defined it over the centuries. The crucial question is, to what extent can we go in seeking compromises without losing what makes these sacred places unique and what they symbolize for the faithful? In trying to dialogue with the present, do we risk losing something essential, that deep and transcendent dimension that cannot be fully replaced by openness to the new? Is this really the path to the future? Or, in pursuing change, do we risk losing sight of the very heart of the Church's mission? Perhaps the real challenge lies not in reinventing oneself, but in doing so without forgetting the most authentic meaning of what one represents. If you like the video, comment Amen. God bless you.